Well, happy Friday and welcome to Tucker Island Live right here on Facebook. And today we're going to talk about something just carrying it on from our last virtual town hall, where we talk about something that really isn't necessarily associated with estate planning and it comes out of nowhere and makes you really question and what's been going on, and that is legal planning for young adults. And I'm joined by Kevin Mason up in the Kansas City area. Welcome.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Good. So, I said this the last time. It's one of those things where we think about estate planning and wills and trusts, and there is no way the first thing that comes to mind, or even the second, or the third, or the fourth, of planning for a young adult who's college age, 18, 19, 20, or 21. It doesn't happen. And so it is critical. We talked about it, and I'll share my thoughts having kids at that age and gone through college, but maybe explain to people that are watching right now. And as you're watching, if you have some questions, you can submit them in the comments section. We'll get to those here in the short time that we're together here. But just let's talk generally about why is this now all of a sudden relevant for an 18-year-old or above?
Sure. So I think as soon as you turn 18, you reach the legal age of majority, meaning that now in the eyes of the law, they see you as an adult. So prior to that, as a parent, what you would have is you would get to be that one who can make financial decisions. You're a medical and legal guardian for your child until they're 18. So during that time, that means that you do get to know what's going on with their finances. You can know whenever they would end up in the hospital, you could be admitted into the room. You would get to be making health decisions for them. But all of that kind of changes. It stops as soon as that child turns 18. So that's why it's kind of important to have a plan in place, because the last thing that you want is to have, your 18-year-old have some sort of problem, and then the bank can't talk to you or the hospital can't talk to you because they're legally an adult now. And, the bank and the hospitals, they can't share that information with just anyone. You would have to be like a power of attorney.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, knowing my kids, there is no way that they would want to make solely and exclusively, I mean, to the exclusion of me and my wife, medical decisions. If he gets injured, first thing he's going to do is call me and say, "What should I do?" And so, or if he's unconscious or whatever it may be, obviously. So
Mhm.
that's why I think it's so critical. It's something that you don't think about my high school senior is graduating on Sunday. And the last thing we're thinking about is, well, what happens if he gets sick? Who's going to make those decisions? You don't make that connection, or even on their 18th birthday. I think we maybe in America tend to look at some milestones like 21st birthday, graduation from college, marriage,
Mhm.
and then you think, okay, now they're all grown up and we have to do something where they can do it on their own. And so there is this mix between the healthcare decisions
Mhm.
and the financial, right? So there's a
Yes.
financial side as well.
Yes, no, there absolutely is. So there's kind of two documents that I think are very important for like those ages that we were just speaking about. Those the young adults that are just getting ready to kind of leave home and head off to school, sometimes in different states, but they're now they've turned 18, they're taking jobs, they're going to college, they're doing things like that. That's whenever like those. So one of the documents is a durable power of attorney. And that's like that financial document where what it does is the person who is granting, right, the grantor, they are granting power to another person, to a third party to act as we use the word agent. But all that this means is just that somebody can act in your place in financial matters in the event that you couldn't do it yourself.
Yeah.
Um, and then we also have a healthcare power of attorney. It's the exact same thing, where it's just in the event that you couldn't make decisions for yourself or you wanted help making those decisions, then you can name someone to help you.
I mean, there are all kinds of scenarios that you can think about. I'm thinking as we're talking about my son who's graduating high school, there's no way he's thinking about, well, what happens if I don't want to make decisions? It's not going to be the person, that 18-year-old or that 19-year-old, or you may have someone in college. It's not too late, obviously. It's not like
No.
you must do it at 18, right? You can do it at any point when they're in school or any time. It's a matter of the parent or parents making that decision and having that conversation with, like I'm going to say, hey, Brogan, I need to do this because if you can't do X, Y, or Z, I want to be able to help you and help you
Right.
make those decisions. And I'm sure that you have stories like that.
Absolutely. So I know earlier today I was kind of hearing a bit of a horror story from someone that I work with. So what she was telling me, one of her friends got a phone call in the middle of the night from her daughter's roommate, where she went to school at, and just said like, "Hey, your daughter's in an ambulance right now, and I think this is a hospital she's going to." Parents drive all night. They get to the hospital. Turns out, luckily, it is the correct hospital, but the daughter was unconscious, and so the staff there at the hospital administrators are saying, "Hey, like we can't tell you anything about this. There's no, you're not the healthcare power of attorneys. We can't speak to you about this. She doesn't have any, and she's unconscious and can't make any decisions of her own, but she's legally an adult." So they couldn't tell them anything. They couldn't go in to see her, and it took about, I think what I was told was close to 24 hours for her to like regain consciousness, to the point to be able to say like, "Oh yes, those that is the name of my parents. If those are the people that are outside, please bring them in." So yeah, that had to be a very tense, frightening, scenario that I can't imagine anybody would want to go through. And that's like a very easy. It's just very easy to not have to go through that. So it's one document. It's a fairly short document, super easy to take care of. And then you don't have to worry about that kind of like nightmare scenario where you can't figure out what's going on. Cause I I don't know what was going through those parents' head, but they must have had a million different thoughts thinking, did
Mhm.
maybe she had an allergic react, I don't know. There could some of these things, right? Could be nothing, like, oh, maybe she got sick and now she's dehydrated, so she's just going to get some IV, or the other end of the spectrum, she was in a car accident. Who knows? They can't find out. So that's kind of the
Yeah.
this terrifying part.
I mean, if you've ever experienced it, not necessarily with your kids or even my wife, for example, or I may, you get no access. I don't care what relationship you have. I'm like, oh, well, I'm her husband. Well, I'm sorry, we can't share that medical information with you. And I don't have, at the time, I wasn't thinking healthcare power of attorney, or it could be financial. I've talked about these stories before where I was trying to transact a banking, transaction with my daughter for her.
Right.
It was a local bank. She was away at school in another state. And I'm just thinking, oh, I want to transfer some money. And they're like, we know you, but we really can't. And I get it. And it's, until you face that situation, the reality of the necessity of something so simple just doesn't become apparent or urgent to a parent. I mean, honestly, I think our challenge is, when we talk about this, is to get that information out to the public so that they can, as you suggest, do something so easy as to do the healthcare and the durable powers of attorney. um, but I mean, there's always a step further if you want to. It's not morbid, it's just planning, proper planning. It's, put on your seatbelt. We do that out of habit now, right?
Yep.
And so why shouldn't we do all of this out of habit? Like even a will. If you have, I have a 26-year-old, and I know he doesn't have a will. He probably should think about a will, right?
Yep, absolutely. So that was going to be my other suggestion here was, let's have those power of attorney set up, and then let's go ahead and get that, just the most basic will imaginable, have it to where it's going to a sibling or siblings or your parents, just a very, very basic will that all that it needs to say in there is just like, "Hey, I want my assets, my full estate to go to, this person or these couple people," just in the event that the worst happened, right?
Mhm.
We don't want somebody to ever pass away intestate, because that just complicates and creates fairly, it creates a bigger mess for your family to deal with than the obvious pain, like heartache that they're already dealing with. So
Yeah.
that's why we're always saying like, "Hey, even in this situation, you're young, that's awesome. This isn't for forever for you. This isn't some estate plan that can, handle the test of time like some of these other things we try to do here. It's like this is just, going to get you through the next few years, and then after you get a real job and start making some money, let's revisit all this." But
Yeah.
yeah, so let's get those powers of attorneys though, and that will, and be all set.
The healthcare and the durable power of attorney, they're the most painless thing that you can ever do. I mean, I'm thinking, obviously, the will, and if you do a trust for perhaps our older clientele, it is, it's more substantive, it's more intensive, there's a lot of questions. This is a, hey, I need to know who are you going to designate, get you both to sign, here's the proper document, we get it notarized, we send you on your way, now you have it. I mean, it is, and leading that into Tucker Allen has a summer, a kind of special where you offer the ability to get college age kids or 18 plus these things in a very fast, easy, affordable, and I mean painless way. So maybe you can talk about that.
Yep, absolutely. So during the summer months here, I can't quite, I don't think we have decided yet exactly when the start date is on this, but it will be sometime here pretty soon. But what we do is for, those college age young adults, whenever they come in, it's going to be $100, and then you get your durable and your healthcare powers of attorney. So it's like a truly incredible deal money wise on that. And like you said, it's a very, very easy, quick, painless process. So we can sit there with you. All that we need to do is we need to get a name or two from you on who you'd like to have your agents be. We need to have an address for your healthcare power of attorney and a phone number for them. And then after that, I've got my notary stamp right there, and can go walk over and grab a couple witnesses, and we sign it and get you on your way, and you're set. So it's we're talking very short amount of time here.
And if you're a grandparent watching, and you got to talk to your kids about their kids and make sure that it's taken care of, because it's absolutely necessary. And I think after hearing it, and maybe you hear some of the stories, it's just one thing to check off and say, okay, now I can really focus on, all right, now let's go, fill the dorm room. Let's go get the microwave and the refrigerator, because everything else is taken care of. I mean, when you think about opening up a bank account, maybe, that's, if you go to these colleges, my kids have gone to, I've got a bunch of them obviously, and every college say, oh yeah, go open a checking account, a student checking account. Here, it should be kind of that connection of, okay, I'm going to open a check account and I'm going to get my durable power of attorney taken care of, or I already have. And so it's interesting as I opened this, and the point being, it is not something that many people speak about because they just don't connect estate planning. And this is just, right planning for your kids. And it's a great intro too, and saying, hey, you know what? I want to talk to you and introduce you to estate planning. We're not going to do the whole thing, but this is step one for you. And as you get older, maybe we'll talk further about making sure you take care of your things so that your family and your kids are taken care of. And I just think it's another thing as a parent that's a conversation that they may find of interest, and especially help when they're there. And you could be hours away, if not, a plane ride away. So I think it's a great introduction, and something that really everyone should find out more information about. So thanks for joining today, Kevin. It's great. You can go to tuckerallen.com. You can find out more, give us a call, schedule a consult, whatever it is, or just pick up the phone or shoot us an email, and then just say, hey, I want more information about the college age kids, power of attorneys, kind of special that's coming up in the summer months. And we can shoot you some information about it and get that taken care of for you. It's very painless. It's very easy. It's very quick. I think you'll be really surprised. And again, thanks for joining, Kevin. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Well, continue to tune in every Friday, 1:00 Central Time, to Facebook Live, Tucker Allen Live, right here, where we're just going to give you a quick snippet of really vital information that you can take away. There's more resources on tuckerallen.com, including the Elder Talk radio show, our podcasts, and our virtual town hall that we have every month. So check it out in June. You'll want to log in. You can ask questions and get answers live during our virtual town hall, where we have our Tucker Allen attorneys take part of that. So again, until next Friday, have a great week.